Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. And today's reading is going to be choosing between love and something else. And that something else could be career, money, family, duties, dreams, or friendships. We're going to split the pile into 3 different sections. So we're going to have the person you're thinking about, the obstacle, and you, and then basically just go through the reading and see. Try and solve a problem, I suppose, or look at the best way forward. You've got 3 piles as usual. Whisper Pink is number 1, 5405 number 2, and Deep Forest is number 3. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll get going. This gives me a really sad feeling. I'll tell you why, and I don't know whether it's true or not. So take it with a pinch of salt, because I know it is a collective reading or a group reading. So I'm not really sure, but I will tell you what I'm feeling. The Whisper Pink here, the colour that I pulled out of the Pantone pack to begin with. I don't know if you can see it from there, because it looks grey to me from that. It is a grey colour. It's like a very, very slight pink, and it's almost washed out with white. And with the pink, it makes me think of the heart chakra and sort of emanating a feeling of love. But the fact that it's not red and the fact that it's pink also makes me think that that feeling has almost died down a little or has been diluted. And the fact that it's mixed with so much white. I went to have my aura picture taken, must have been, I don't know, 20 years ago, and it was just white all the way over, all the way through the picture. And I've had it done many times, and it's always turquoise colour or a bluey colour, and I kept thinking, well, that looks good, look at me with that white aura. And the guy said to me, he said, you've brought that energy down. The man who interpreted the reading said, you've brought the white energy down because you're going through a really troubled time at the moment, as if you've brought something down to help you. And that was exactly right. He was exactly right. So I wonder, with regards to these other cards here, whether you having the reading are going through a hard time, and it's almost as if you're trying not to give too much of yourself and your heart at the moment. And I'll tell you why, because it does actually lead on. You have this other card that came with it, which is, I don't know how to pronounce this. I've said this before. I sound like I'm doing some sort of salsa singing. La Llorona. La Llorona. There you go. This is, anyway, that's not funny. This is the weeping woman. And so she kills her children because her partner has had an affair. And as she cries, other children are drawn towards her, as in children who are already alive. And if they do, basically, it's their end as well, because they are drowned with her. And there's a feeling of like a punishment or a crime that's repeated over and over again. And it's grief and pity and rage. And what she does is she kills herself afterwards. This is more morbid than your situation, I am sure, and I hope. And she commits suicide, and then she's to try and get closer to her children. But because her children are so innocent, they've moved on. So she's on a different plane to them and can't get hold of them. And it makes me think of something that's happened that is almost repeating itself that doesn't need to. And you've got here the Four of Swords. To me, it feels of a hard time of you almost, with the Four of Swords as well, being in pain, retreating from life, trying to organise your thoughts, trying to organise your feelings to be the best you possibly can be through the grief and pain, and basically not understanding what's going on possibly, but just a healing feeling. It's like a burden that you carry around with you, and it just repeats itself over and over again. You don't need to do this. I'm sure, hopefully this will come out in the reading. While your fella or missus, on the other hand, is coming across as being more practical. You seem to be carrying a lot of the pain, and the other person seems to be almost trying to look at things either in a logical manner at best or being less affected than you at worst. possibly. Anyway, that's the feeling I got, and it's a really strong feeling because you can almost feel it in your arms, and it's a bit of a tingly, but it makes you feel sad looking at those ones there. So I'm not saying that your life is like rolling around on the carpet crying, but I'm just sort of thinking that it's painful. It's painful, and you're trying to sort things out, and you feel like you've retreated, and there's a heavy feel to it to me. There's a heavy feel of it almost repeats itself over and over again. Right, okay. This is what I'm going to start shooting my mouth off straight away with what I'm thinking. Down here is the problem. And to me, with this one, if you're female, it doesn't really matter if you're both males, female, or whatever, but the more feminine character between you two is the one that's trying to keep the power. So your partner is coming across the same in both pictures, almost as if, do you know what it makes me think of? A woman who's, come on, talk to me, let's talk through this. Nah. That type of feeling when somebody's trying to get the answers, somebody's trying to take an emotional stance or try and get an emotional answer, and the other person in the relationship is really sort of stoic. And this is causing you pain, as if, it's like one of those old-fashioned films, you get those. I keep ranting on about The Godfather. This isn't The Godfather, but I don't know why I must have watched them recently. But you get those old mafia films, like when the female in the film is really going for the man, and they're like, yeah, and they walk out and commit some crime. It's not that this person's going to commit a crime, but it makes me think of you've almost been pushed into a role where you're the one that is, I'm going to say nagging, over anxious, overthinking. That's probably what I mean. And it's not, this sounds really awful, I know, but it makes me feel of, when you go into the house and your kids are at home or your family's at home, there's crumbs everywhere and nobody's washed up, and that turns you into the person that says, come on, clean the dish, do this, do that. And you don't want to be in that position, but it's making me feel that this relationship is putting you into position and making you be something that you're not normally. Somebody who has to keep picking things up, and it's changed your personality a little bit. Right. I'm thinking as well, the Three of Cups and the Hierophant, whether it's a work situation. If it's not a work situation, it's got to do with something. There's people involved. The Three of Cups makes me think it could be like a work stew or a work celebration, or lots of people in a situation which is like an establishment, which is making me think work. If it's not that, it's got something to do with a marriage or some commitment or something it could be anything. It could be like something that's organised. And it could even be like, you've got to sort of translate a little bit to yourself here. The Hierophant is a structure, so could be a work environment. It could be a religion. It could be something like even a structured day out, like because in go-karting. But go-karting, it's not that. It's just a structure with either a celebration or people involved, and one person being put in a position where they feel like they're anxious, and they're put into a position where they have to do all the trying to steer the relationship, and it gets tiring, and I think you're fed up of it. As if you're fed up of worrying and wondering what's going to happen next, and this person's just carrying on. You're not sure how affected they are by this relationship. But it's causing you a lot of, I'm not saying pain, but it's almost as if you're asking for help with this whisper pink colour here. It's almost as if you're asking for help because you realise you're not quite the person that you used to be. It's not you to be wondering and worrying and thinking too much. And this person seems unaffected in some ways if they're carrying on their life. Right. Thoughts them and thought to you. The Hierophant goes very much with this card down here of structure, practicality, organisation, everything with boundaries, everything in boxes, and everything's just so. Your person's thoughts with regard to this relationship is quite practical. I can put this in a box and we can keep it very above board. And I don't know whether that's part of his or her personality anyway, of keeping things very much organised in their head, very much controlled, and everything's okay because I've got my suit on and I'm going to work and everything's in its proper box, that type of feeling. You're coming across extremely similar here, but with putting more work in. The Hierophant is more or less somebody who, this is my interpretation, which I'm sure is totally wrong, who sits there and things are handed to them and they delegate extremely well, which is probably this church feeling I'm getting here. So there's this person who is, I assume he's, it makes me think of power because you've got two women down here and I'm assuming this is your person with a face like this and this, so that I think they are in a more powerful position. It's both a practical feeling about it, which once again makes me think of work, but the Eight of Pentacles here makes me think that you're doing all the work. Right, feelings. I think your person thinks that this relationship is not on. Death card makes me think they think it's ended or it's not going, it's not working. Don't know whether this is true, or if it's not that, if you're still in a relationship with this person, it's going through some sort of change or transformation that is big. And it could, if your relationship is quite reasonably smooth going and there's niggling bits like this, because you've got to play it down to basically interpret to yourself. I mean, these whole readings are for you to grasp the bits that feel true and ring true, because you know when they do, because you feel it. And then you've got to, it's like talking to or overhearing a conversation. And you've got to sort of work it out in your own head and pick out the bits. Right, with the Death card here, it makes me think your person is very staid, very steady, and you possibly know them through a work situation or some sort of practical situation, and the relationship is going through some sort of transformation. And their feelings could be, I'm going to put some more on these, feelings could be going through transformation. You with the Hermit and the Four of Swords, you feel like you withdrawn from this situation, you must do, and you're working on yourself. And I think you found the past quite painful, which may be more of a dramatic word, maybe just uncomfortable. Uncomfortable as in not getting what you wanted out of the relationship. So you're just left there wondering what's going to happen next. Or, it's almost as if the ball's in their court and you don't want it to be so, which is quite right. It needs to be equal. Yeah, this person is restricted. That, that's it really. They have shut off and they are concentrating, I would say, on finances, because their whole spread is very practical. So it wouldn't surprise me if this person was a businessman or a businesswoman, very interested in making their mark on the world, and perhaps being financially secure, very possibly being financially secure. And at the timing at the moment, then their feelings and their thoughts aren't really our emotions. They're trying to, I wonder whether they think that, I wonder how much they know about your feelings, because this person's coming shut off, but you've also got this feeling of the Nine of Pentacles here, which makes me wonder whether they know how interested you are anyway. It could be a work situation where they don't know your feelings, and you've almost internalized these feelings and just sort of rumbling, and it's basically going over in your head. It's like, I'm not saying it's that bad. I mean, this card here makes it very dramatic, but I think these cards, what they're called again, the Dark Goddess, are meant to be quite dramatic, but it's just basically to look at what's going on inside your head, and it's just tumultuous in some way. Just thinking, overthinking, you've got feelings, I don't know whether they know about it, could be a work situation, and what they're doing, I wonder, I think you both shut off from each other. I don't think this relationship is moving at the moment, because you've coming across with regards to feelings as the Four of Cups, so this makes me think that you're not actually, you've shut off as much as they have. It's a stalemate, I think, this relationship. But it does actually change towards the end, because this person may have an inkling how you're feeling, or the relationship may have got further than I'm actually interpreting it. And then the Three of Wands is somebody who, this could be two scenarios, pushes something out I was waiting for it to come back. Okay. Right, okay. I'm just thinking of different scenarios here. There's a possibility with this person here, who's the other person, may have moved away for work, because this card here with the sea between you, it could be career or finances that put the distance between you, and it's quite hard going, and you're doing a lot of wondering and thinking what they're up to, and they are very busy, stuck into their work. It's a possibility. Or is a work situation where you haven't expressed your feelings, they haven't picked them up yet. But if they have picked them up, it's very slight. And it almost turns into where they start awakening a little bit and start looking out for you. If they know your feelings, it's almost as if they've taken it for granted and thought, oh, yeah, an attractive lady, attractive man. Yes, I can see that they are. And then when somebody finds you attractive, they automatically become, extremely attractive, and it could even have that sort of churning effect that comes out, that it almost like the tables turn, and this person starts looking out for you. While you, at the moment, seem a little bit cut off, seem a little bit like, you've got the Four of Swords, which is lying low. You've got the Four of Cups, emotionally lying low, really not appreciating what's been offered. So it could be, if it is a case of this person being a little bit cut off and then deciding that they really into you, then it gets to the point maybe where you're like, well, you're going to have to work for it now. It's that type of feeling. Right, my advice for you having the reading would be to basically kick your heels up, get the excitement back into your life, just do something that makes you feel like you, and that doesn't just feel like a good idea, but feel like a really exciting idea. Just something fresh, something new, make a complete change in your life. And even if this person, almost like leave this person behind, because you're not totally, because you've got the Five of Cups here, you've got Death, this is for advice, and you've got the Fool. So I'm thinking basically get yourself stuck into something that really makes you feel alive, really feels fun, like you're starting something fresh, and don't look back too much. Make a complete change in your life, but still keep a candle on for this person. Leave the door open slightly, but not mentally. Physically leave the door open, as in, not physically, don't, because you might get burgled, but that type of leave a little gap open for them to come forward when they're ready, when they wish, once they've settled down with their work situation, whether they've moved away from you with work or career, or whether they just can't get close to you because of a work situation. So leave the door open. These cards here, I'll read the notes I've taken at the side. It says less painful path. It doesn't have to be an eternal burden. Don't agonise over the past. That's that type of feeling. So it's your chance now to... It's almost as if sometimes these situations can throw you into something because you're uncomfortable anyway. You're not the type where, you're really sort of laid back and you can roll around on the couch watching Netflix for weeks on end. It's almost as if that slight bit of pain throws us into something to make ourselves into a better person and make a complete change in our life. And I think that's what you're going to do. It's almost as if you're going to throw yourself to something else. And then in the meantime, leave the door open for this person, but not mentally open, because you need to use your whole mind processes to delve into something else. And then this person very possibly could start awakening more to your needs, rather than you wondering and nagging, possibly nagging, maybe just nagging yourself, to be honest here, with with trying to get something out of them, and they're not quite ready yet, not settled enough in themselves and their position, probably with regards to what you've asked. I'm thinking it's a practical situation. They could have moved away for work. There could be some sort of career in between you. There could be a work situation in between you. And it makes me think of timing with these cards here. You know, you've done all the groundwork and it's their time to start waking up to it, which I think will happen. But with this Pentacle card here and the fact the rows seem to be slow moving on their part, I think they're... Do you know what I was thinking this morning when I woke up? I mean, as regards to the Pentacles, this is like what I think about when I wake up. Regards to the Pentacle cards here, very slow moving Pentacles, the earthy cards, they like things, they don't like too much excitement. And I was watching this article on Sean Connery again yesterday because he fascinates me. I don't even know why. In fact, he's so different from me that I get quite obsessed with watching him. And he's talking about things and he's so masculine and he's so stubborn and he's so just as he is, unapologetic, is that the correct word? And then he was talking about golf and I'm thinking, well, why do earthy people like Capricorns? Because I started Googling up not Sevi Ballesteros, he's not Capricorn, but Tiger Woods, Capricorn. Somewhere in there, I can't remember what exactly. And all the people that I know that play golf are Capricorn. I'm sidetracking here. Why do earthy people love golf? And I woke up thinking, I am mad. I woke up thinking it's because it's such a gentle sport. It rolls slowly. You got a chance to talk to your mates while you're doing it. It's that type of, it's not like, I'm going to say go-kart racing. No, I don't mean go-kart racing. It's not like Formula One. And this person is no Formula One driver. This person is a slow mover, practical, work orientated, and is slowly waking up to this connection, I think. And you're there wondering, oh, this is actually quite painful. You know, for God's sake, get on with it. And this person's thinking, well, I'm not going to sacrifice my career for a relationship. So if you want this type of person, absolutely fine. If you've got lots of earth inside you, perfect. You know, just keep waiting, keep waiting. Get yourself stuck into something that you need to do for yourself, though, in the meantime, because you need to make a complete change with regards to yourself and and I don't mean this, I mean this in a very positive sense, and the excitement in your life, because this is your time to do that and leave a door open, not the back door. Right, okay, pile number one. I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope it's not been too severe. But I honestly am picking out slowness, methodical, work-orientated attitude with a slow awakening from your person, and almost as if you've done all the leg work. Possibly the same. You may be quite practical as well, so you may enjoy this because you've got the Hermit and the Eight of Pentacles. So you may enjoy this sort of personality, but you need a little bit more. You do need a little bit more. Right, pile number one. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments section if it does in any way, and thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again. Bye. Hi there, pile number two. Let's get going with your reading. I don't know about this yet. I am definitely having to walk my way through this, but my first thoughts and feelings are there's definitely something practical again, something to do with a work situation, but you're coming up as the King of Pentacles and they're coming up as the Three of Cups. So this could be either you, I wonder whether you've been offered a work situation which may lead to distance, or you're already in that situation where there's distance between you and it's got something to do with practicality, possibly finances, or there just is some distance between you. You've got two cards where they're actually, no, it's just one card where they're looking out with distance. And you've got two, I would say, financial cards. But they're coming across here with a group situation. So I don't know, this could be this could be with three people that they're already married or committed elsewhere. I don't know. I'm going to, as I said, this one's a convoluted pile. I'm going to walk my way through it and then see what comes out. Let's just start off from the very beginning. So let's start off with Pantone 5405. Now this colour is a blue colour, which is actually darker than normal blue. The blue normally, as part of like an aura colour, would be somebody who's quite humanitarian, somebody who's quite calm, somebody who's a deep thinker and very, very philosophical in some ways. But the fact it's darker makes me think that it's heavier. It's got a mixture of what looks like a darker tinge, like a blacky grey colour in it. And to me, it could be two things. My first thought was that it's determination, because blues are very determined. And I'm going to stick with that, to be honest. I was going to say, I'm just looking at the other cards as I'm saying that. Sometimes with a dark colour in there, it could mean absence of colour. And absence of colour could make me think that you're normally, or the relationship is normally quite a very strong cerebral connection, but there's absence of colour there, which makes me think that there's something missing from it. But I don't think that. With regards to auras, a dark or a black aura is an absence of colour. I don't know where I've got that. I know I remember reading something ages ago with somebody who saw auras, and there was somebody, it's the back of a church, a spiritualist church, and these two men came, and this isn't you, by the way, these two men came in, and this lady could see auras, and I know who it was, Mia Doolan, some psychic, some British psychic, and she was saying these two men came in, and they just had black auras, and I can remember wondering what it was, and it's absence of colour. Anyway, that is not you. Yours is more determined, because you have got Epona. I can't say it. Epona. This is the great Celtic mare, but it's a sign of strength. So this is where I came to the determined feel. The mare in this myth or legend is a sign of wealth and strength, because the horses were seen as great riches, because they got you from one place to the other before we had cars. And when the Roman warriors came to Britain, they basically put this Epona, lady horse thing, on the temples to show riches and wealth. But I also think it's a bit like the ferryman in the River of Styx, who carries the dead. The mare carries the dead into the afterlife. So it's almost like some sort of support with regards to transition. So I'm thinking to myself here, determination, strength in transitions and movements, and wealth. Okay, so it's making me think just from these two here, not the rest, as if you have an inner strength to go through whatever situation you are watching this for, with the strength and abundance within yourself to be able to cope with it. That's what I'm thinking initially from these two cards here. I got slightly sidetracked there, because I was about to say, when I said the Roman warriors arrived in Britain and they put this lady on their temples, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm not going to go there. No, I'm not going to go there. There's no need for that. Right then, moving on swiftly. You're coming across as the King of Pentacles here. The King of Pentacles is somebody who's very stoic, somebody who's very focused, somebody who's very practical in getting what they want out of the world, and they're not easily strayed sideways into emotions or fantasies or dreams. It's just somebody who wants life to work in a very practical sense. This has got the sort of roses on the head, which gives it a more feminine feel, with crystals. So I'm thinking growth and beauty, a tinge of the Empress card here, a tinge of the Death card here with the butterflies. So it, once again, yes, it's transition. It's transition to actually grow and make the life that you want, with strength and dignity and beauty. Okay, getting it. Your other person on this side here is either part of a third wheel, and I'm thinking possibly their side, maybe your side, but to me, third wheel. 3 people in a relationship or more, or a group situation with regards to work, but I'm thinking more 3 people in a relationship. This is what I'm thinking from the initial bit here. I think that you are somebody who's very strong. I think you're very focused. With all these 3 cards here, I think you're very determined. I think you're a force to be reckoned with. I think you have an air of beauty, that you could grow anything. You could grow a garden out of a cabbage patch. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I'll explain. I sat next to a woman once, and she was very much she's very practical, into her garden. And she was so excited that there was a lump of crappy plastic floating around in the ocean and flowers had started to grow from it. And she was just in awe of nature. So this makes me think of you. You could grow anything out of anything. And I'm thinking at this very moment are in a third party. They are a third wheel. Whichever way, I don't know which way that party goes, which was the third, possibly, or because it's pentacles and there's a group situation, it could be a work situation. Let me just have a look down here. Right, Prince of Pentacles again is giving me that work feeling, practicality again, but this guy here is actually it looks like he's jumping for the stars, but it's a basketball jump. So I don't know whether it's a leap to get a leg up in a career with one of you. Yeah, I think there is. Again, it's another work situation. I'm sure of it. It's a work situation with possibly, could be both. It could be other people involved. The Wheel of Fortune makes me think with regards to a work situation again, working Three of Pentacles. That's different. Okay, still three people, but possibly a group situation. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. It makes me think with the Wheel of Fortune, which is the Jupiter card with regards to the Prince of Pentacles, is a opportunity that can't be missed. Princess of Swords, and that's a logical decision, possibly. Possibly. So there you are, sitting here, all very practical, all very organised in your beauty and your strength, very determined, and there's something to do with an extra work situation, possibly distance, or a third wheel situation here with regards to people. Right, let's go through this bit by bit. The Two of Wands with regards to their thoughts. Which there's distance here. I don't know whether the distance has got something to do with the third wheel or the work situation. There's distance from both of you. You are both looking out for each other. You're both looking out for each other. I don't know, excuse me, I don't know whether there is sea between you or whether there's just distance as a... Do you know what this makes me feel? It makes me feel like two people that have fallen for each other and they're almost in like this blissful state. But there's something in between you that you both know it, you both feel it, because your next cards will show this, but there's distance and there's just watching and waiting. It's almost like waiting for something to explode. Waiting for something to kick off, waiting for something exciting, but it's almost as if you're both in this like gleeful moment of, when cats purr, like you've gone home and there's attraction there between the pair of you and you're just quite content as you are at the moment, but you are looking and waiting to see what's going to happen next. Regards to your feelings, they've got the Strength card, although I think you are also the Strength card, to be honest, with those three cards at the top, and then you've got the Nine of Cups. So this person has desires and hopes, but they're almost, it feels like it's very strong but too early to be let out, to be expressed. You've got the Nine of Cups, which makes me think, but it makes me think of quietness though. It makes me think of somebody who has found somebody they're really, really attracted to, and it feels like you're not going to find this person very often. It makes you feel really warm inside. Both these cards make you feel warm inside, but it's almost as if you're almost sitting on it and you're just enjoying the moment, because if you are a kind of King of Pentacles character, then you don't need to move fast. We were just saying this in the first pile. There's a feeling of watching, waiting, and deep contentment and smugness between the pair of you of finding somebody that you're really attracted to. And their thoughts for action, Seven of Pentacles. This person has the same feeling as you of not doing anything much at the moment. Action-wise, they're going to give you bits because there's something between you two that is either they can't give a lot because there's a work situation that separated you, or there's three people, possibly again within a practical situation, because the Three of Pentacles there. rather than, do you have Three of Cups? No. Ace of Pentacles is your action, so it could very possibly be you that's moving from one situation to the other, or you may have caused a distance because you have had to move away due to a financial decision or a work opportunity. Possibly a work opportunity here. I don't know. I don't know. Right, I'll sum up what I've got and I'll put some cards on something else to get a little bit more of a clearer picture. You're coming across as somebody really strong, very practical, very much in control of yourself, with a really deep inner strength and a real strong sense of determination. There is possibly a work situation with a few people involved. If not, there's a third wheel, as in a third wheel relationship here, or distance to do with a work opportunity. I know that's three possible different scenarios, but that's what I've got, and there's going to be hopefully more than three people watching. Maybe. It makes me feel as well, there's a feeling of, this has got a real feeling of expansion and excitement with regards to feelings and possibly a career opportunity. There's a reaching for the stars feeling, and I don't know whether it's emotional or practical. At the moment, you two are looking at each other from a distance, but there's this real feeling of passion that is making you both feel good, but it's got this sort of smug, laid back, I'm in love, rose tinted spectacles, you know, and I don't mean that in a nice way, as in it's just I'm really happy with where I am at the moment and finding this person. And your person who you're asking about is going to be basically putting bits aside towards getting closer to you, or trying to work to get closer to you if there's distance with regards to a job opportunity, or even a third wheel party. They want to keep their options open and keep working towards you. You've got the Ace of Pentacles, so either you're going to offer more than this person compared to his Seven of Pentacles, where he's putting, or she's putting one pentacle, one baby pentacle aside, and you've got this big dobber to offer. You're the one that's going to be either taking an opportunity that may be giving distance between the pair of you, or even just work. This could be anything. The Ace of Pentacles makes me think of a new beginning with regards to work, but you could just be basically more engrossed in your work than he or she is, and they're going to be giving less. You're more focused on either them or something else. So if it's you that's got the work opportunity, you are really happy with the situation with regards to relationship. You're looking out, but you're also concentrating on your work. If it's not that, you could be offering more than this person. But to be honest, this person, if he's not offering more or she's not offering more, is not due to lack of feelings. It's due to possibly a third wheel. And that's all they can do. Right. Right, advice is quite strange for this pile. Advice is almost, if it's a third party situation, it's very possible that if you do sneaking around behind that's not totally out in the air or out in the open, then it's very possible that you could be caught out and nobody's going to win. You're both going to end up hurt. And especially if it's a man, and no, it doesn't really matter, does it? Of course, if there's another woman in this relationship, as in that other woman is the third party, it's very probable that you could be actually found out. So it's almost like enjoy the feelings, but be really conscious and careful that if there is a third party situation, that you won't get away with it. You'll get tripped up. I'm thinking you'll get tripped up some way. I'm going to tell you why. You've got this Seven of Swords here, which makes me think of some sort of sneaky behaviour. Basically, yeah, sneaky behaviour. Something that's going on that's a little bit below the surface. And then the Five of Swords here makes me think that there's a victor. You might get what you want, but nobody's going to win. Nobody's going to win, and then this makes me think of the third wheel possibly. If it's a work situation, could almost say, with regards to advice, that if you have to take a different tack to get where you want to go in work, or they have to basically have there could be distance between you with regard to having to move away from you, then the best thing to do to keep the situation alive is to use your emotions rather than your heads, and to basically give to each other, because the feelings are there and the emotions are there, and just to keep it open in that way, to make sure that you're giving and you're open and you're kind to each other and soft with each other, because it's going to be as equally hard on both of you. Because the feelings are very similar here, very sort of mental and watching and curiosity, strength of feelings and a feeling of warmth from finding the person, and then it turns quite practical with you possibly either starting something new and them just basically being able to give you small amounts. But it's like a real feeling all the way through this of an opportunity that you both feel, or one of you feels, can't be missed. Then it turns practical in how you can deal with it. So these situations say, however you deal with it, make sure that you're above board, and you do it with sort of a, I was going to say, I can't think of it, that sounded really corny, with a sense of love for everybody that's involved. Okay, I'm going to finish on that one. Right, thank you, pile. I'm laughing because I'm thinking you'd be a better person than me if you do that. Right, okay. Thank you very much, pile 2, for watching and joining me today, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi there, pile 3. Let's have a look at your pile then. Let's see why your situation's so complicated.
La música de Harry Frog.
Okay, pile number 3. This, I can't get my head out of this. This is so interesting. And I don't know what on earth I'm thinking. I'm going to go with these 2 cards first with regards to the deep forest. I always think when I choose these Pantone colours, make me think of auras, and you've got the Black Madonna here as well. Both these colours are very dark, so I don't know if this does refer to skin colour. Really interesting. The Black Madonna, I seem to choose, there's about 50, 60 cards in this pack. I always get the Black Madonna. In Europe, we have on our churches lots of white Madonnas, and there was, I can't remember when, but a slew of Black Madonnas turned up at some time in history, because they were made out of walnut, and they had a sort of, because they were so different from what was normally there, it makes me think of a real magical, not magical mystery time traveling elf. It makes me think of something that is just different, something that's new, something that's exciting, and something that shakes the status quo. And with regards to aura, it's a real mysterious feel here, because as I said earlier in pile 2, and I don't mean this in a negative sense whatsoever, it's just in a really interesting sense. And with regards to this spread, I was saying that I read a book, I think it was about psychic, it must be about 15 years ago, and this psychic was doing a spiritist meeting, and these 2 men came and sat in the back, and she said their auras were black, and it always interested me to what it actually meant. And it meant an absence of colour rather than a colour that had, basically an absence of colour. So these 2 cards together make me think of something withdrawn and mysterious, but really interesting. Hold on a minute. Eclectic, diverse. You need to go inside and connect, but do it with an open heart. That's the notes I've actually scribbled from this card. This is so interesting. I don't know why it is to me. It's the 2 together. With regards to this absence of aura and the Black Madonna being different from the normal White Madonna and it being a huge shift, and it's a bit sort of a Uranus feel about it, about changing the status quo, and it being quite exciting and shocking at the same time, but with an air of mystery. I don't know there. Right, okay. Ace of Pentacles. You're coming across as the Ace of Pentacles. I don't know whether you have a new financial beginning or whether there's a new work opportunity in the pipeline, or whether this might be causing a distance between you, or because they're coming up with the Three of Pentacles with a group situation. Once again, Pentacles are earthy cards. They're practical situations. It could be very much just a work situation with lots of people involved, with a mysterious feel to it, but it's still exciting to both of you. Don't know yet. I'm going to keep going on that one. Real strong feeling with these cards. I really like these two cards together, but I am wondering whether it's a practical feeling with an air of keeping it below the surface, like a mystery, absence of information possibly. Right, this is where it gets quite interesting for me to try to interpret. These cards down here are the situation in general. So you've got what I would say is a very steady, practical situation that has been rumbling, and then it's almost like these waves almost towering here and coming into the heart. It makes me think of something that's hidden, that is growing and almost coming out for touching the surface so that other people will be able to acknowledge it too. Pentacles again, real earthy connection, real practical connection, group situation, possibly work situation, possibly you have gone, I can't think you're moving out of a job with the Ace of Pentacles, but you could have just come into this person's life. I don't know, mystery, death, change. Okay, let me keep going. The reason why I find this spread so interesting is because it flips. This is their thoughts about you. Sun, happiness, clarity, love, enjoyment, freedom, childlike, spontaneous, excitement. Love, I said that. It's just basically that feeling when you fall in love and you don't mind whether they know it or not. But you've got all this mysterious card. So this person either has been more open with you or is a more open personality than you. Very sort of Leo, warm, outgoing, outgiving energy. You're coming across as somebody who's reserved and in pain here. So this is what I don't understand. So you're coming across as being more reserved. You're coming across as finding it quite difficult. So if this is a situation that you're trying to keep below the surface, I think with regards to thoughts, and it flips in a minute, that you are actually suffering more in your thoughts, where this person is like skipping around like Skippy the kangaroo, as if they've just found their mate. Now, feelings, this is where it turns. Your feelings start turning into the Ace of Cups. I haven't talked about your feelings yet anyway, but you've got two aces here, so it's almost as if you're going for a new beginning, and this might be causing the third wheel in this relationship. It's almost as if you fall in love, or you have fallen for somebody else, or there's just some new beginning in the pipeline, and then they end up almost being... It's like taking sweets off a child feeling here. You've got the Sun card here for them, and then followed by the Three of Swords. And you're coming out all happy with two Pentacles and new beginnings. And then, I don't know, I'm going to have to sum this up. And the end card for them, Eight of Swords, is tension, feeling like they can't move. So this very much could play into this three people up here. You've got the stoic face on here. Four of Pentacles. I'm not giving you anything. I've got nothing to give to anybody. I'm not taking anything. I'm just standing still and waiting to see what happens, which goes very much with the Temperance card. Okay, right. This is what I'm thinking. There's a situation here with these cards here that's quite different but very exciting. Something's quite hidden and quite mysterious in this. It possibly could be a work situation. It possibly could be more than two people involved. There's been an initial attraction, which, especially for the other person, has been like a child at Christmas. Yours is more, I don't know whether, if this is a third party, whether yours is harder for you. I don't know why. I don't know why, depending on whether they're in third party or both in third party. You found it difficult. There's been lots of tension, lots of waking up in the night. It's the feelings of, I would say, attraction and love have built up and are basically come to some sort of breaking, some crescent shape. And then it turns into this person ends up being the one, as if you've turned around to them and said, look, this isn't going to work because it has been secret, it's been hidden, and it doesn't need to be. Or it possibly can't carry on that way. And it's as if it's something that you need to keep steady. Both of you feel like you need to keep steady to basically earn your money, or to keep a situation that's very practical going, or a situation that has an established grounded feeling to it. So I'm not saying marriage because it makes me think more work, but it could be. And then as the relationship has gone on, this person has almost, it makes me think possibly with flipping between these two cards here, there's been an argument and your person has taken it more to heart, and then almost inside this argument they've revealed their feelings to you, which have made you feel the Ace of Cups. I don't know here, but there's been a complete change in this situation that's gone from softness and calm to trying to maintain some stability to change, and it's left you both feeling left out of it. It's like those, which happens in most relationships. One's giving more than the other at different times. One reveals their feelings, the other one cuts back. It makes me think of that, and it makes me think of secrets and lots of people in a situation possibly that needs to be hidden. There's a real air of mystery about this, and I don't really know what this means, but I have my inklings. There's always that saying is Osiris is the black god, and that to me makes me think of something more it's like a black hole energy. It's like we don't understand what's going on in the universe, and it's the bits that we don't understand, which scientists are beginning to understand, I'm sure, I don't really know, is going to lead us probably to know more about different worlds with regards to things like black holes and things like that. This is where the air of mystery comes in. It's like a suction feel to it, and then there's suction feel. It's like, I need to understand there's mystery here, and then it's revealed here, with you probably thinking, oh my God, yeah, I really do. I've really fallen for this person because I'm beginning to understand what's hidden here, and I still think it's hidden to other people. And then the other person takes the turn to feel upset, and then it's almost like a stalemate now of them feeling that they can't move forward, possibly to do with this third situation here. And then the Four of Pentacles here, you've just almost had to cut your feelings off a bit to say, look, one of us or both of us or other people involved are going to end up hurt. The only thing that I'm worried about with regard to this reading is that you've got the Ace of Pentacles twice, so I don't know whether you've had some new opportunity that's going to cause distance between the pair of you, but still there's some sort of flip of feelings where one's not feeling the same thing at the same time, trying to probably to take other people's feelings into account possibly, and then a complete change. And almost if this complete change, it could be a practical offer from you with regards to you, something that you need to be doing or where you're going, is almost causing you both to think this relationship possibly can't go any further because of this new beginning for you. Let me just say, this is really interesting to me. It makes me think that you've been offered some sort of job opportunity that's an opportunity or new practical start, an opportunity for you to be more of who you actually are. It could be to do with a company or a business or a marriage. Hierophant could be marriage, but with the Ace of Pentacles, I don't know. This is not helping me because you've got third wheel cards of there being possibly somebody else, but you've also got work cards as well. So the Hierophant with the It's either you, if you're a woman or quite very feminine, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, and this is you, there's somebody else involved in this relationship, and it's another woman or a more female type character, more feminine qualities, or the way they come across is more feminine. But it could equally so much be with work, and I can't actually, there's just such an even balance between this, I couldn't say. I think the more cards sometimes the more cards I get out, the more confusing it gets. It's best to have less sometimes. Oh my god, okay, it does, okay. It does, I'm going to try and sum this up. There's an air of mystery, there's an air of something below the surface, but it's almost quite exciting, where I think you two have really fallen for each other. And at different times you've expressed your thoughts and feelings, where it's initially caused you more tumultuous feelings and then a real awakening of emotions, where they initially had been full gung-ho into the relationship. I found the one, and then found it difficult through something to do with work or a third party. I honestly don't know, to be honest, on this one. And then now it's actually turned into, and I would say, well, it was a rumbling of love and feelings and tension and excitement, and here's something hidden that has grown and grown like a crescent of a wave, and then it's almost like the wave has crashed and you've cut off now. So the Eight of Swords and the Four of Pentacles makes me think that the other person's very sort of, I don't know what to do, even though they could do something, they feel trapped by their own thoughts. You're basically made a more practical decision of saying, either I'm going to take this job opportunity or this new movement in my life, or if it's not that, I'm just going to keep myself to myself. Okay, if it is a job opportunity, your advice is to take it. If it's you, your advice is to take it. I mean, if it is them, I'm thinking it's you, but they have got a work card here. It's that put a lot of thought into it. You've got the Page of Swords, the Hangman. Think about it, you know, think about the logistics of it. Think about where you want to be in 5 years' time type of feeling. But it does seem to tend to say that they will either take it or you will take the job opportunity. And that's what you should do. Or the new beginning, the new practical beginning. I'm going to have to say that because I don't know whether it's third. There are work cards here, so it has got something to do with finances or practical issues or just money. And it's all these cards here almost urging you or them to take the practical step, the one that's going to, which is not like me to say this, the one that's going to be less emotional, maybe less emotionally fulfilling, but is going to make more sense in the mundane world. God, I never thought I'd say those words. Right, pile number 3. I'm going to finish it there. I don't know if that made sense. To be honest, it was so interesting to me because it had so many different aspects to it, but it's easy as well to not apply it to lots of different people and to also trip yourself up as you're reading. So I try my best. But to me, that was really interesting. Thank you very much for... to me, it's interesting. Gosh, you know, what does that matter really if it's interesting to me? Well... Thank you very much for spending time with me today, and I hope that makes sense. Please let me know in the comments section if any of it does, because it is a mixture, this one, a real mixture. Pile number 1 and 2, straightforward. This one is a mixture. Right, thank you again, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.